We got coming to the
Passion for Christ. Sponsored by Mel Gibson.
From the group Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace.
Nyasha Bray.
Yeah, woo, we're all willfully ignorant. Woo! Why is atheist singular?
Once upon a time, billions of years ago,
Cthulhu ruled with an iron tentacle.
And magically created this entire universe. We have the sun, the stars, the moon,
Applebee's.
we have Earth with all the beautiful humans and plants. And it really is a beautiful story.
Sandwich. Oh.
And that's exactly what it is. A story created by Charles Darwin. One scientist said that evolution is simply a fairy tale for adults.
Right, because a magic man done it is so much more plausible.
The progress of science, but that it was utterly useless. Charles Darwin, who was the founder of evolution, wasn't even
Hi, I'm Charles Darwin. I founded evolution 4.6 billion years ago.
At Cambridge University, he was an ex-Christian who one day decided, you know what, I don't feel like believing God exists anymore, so I'm going to create my own theory.
I don't feel like believing in God. My voyage on the Beagle and 20 years of subsequent research had nothing to do with it.
He even stated in his own book that, hey, I was just a young man with unformed ideas. I mean, I threw out some queries, I threw a few suggestions out, wondering all the time about everything. And to my astonishment,
We can't have people wondering about everything.
People ran with the ideas like wildfire. People made a religion out of it. Suggestions.
I keep thinking she's going to rock out on that Casio back there.
Is that what evolution has put their hope in? Suggestions and queries from a scientist who wasn't even a scientist, but a theologian.
You're no scientist.
So, if the evolutionary theory is true, there should be some evidence, right? That's what Darwin
here
said.
comes
He
lies
said
about
that
the
if
fossil
evolution
record.
is true, there should be fossil records that show full transitional species.
I really can't stand it when people can't spend 5 minutes on Wikipedia.
Did you know that in over 150 years of archaeological research and paleontology, we found over hundreds of millions of bones?
Gazillions,
and
even.
How many of those are fossils with, the transitional form?
2, no, 7, no, 4.
Not one bone out of hundreds of millions of bones over 150 years of research.
Wrong.
Darwin himself says that unless transitional forms could be found in the fossil records, then the theory of evolution was worthless speculation. I'll say it one more time.
Okay, but I really don't see how repeating it's going to make it any more true.
The theory of evolution was worthless speculation. Darwin basically says, if you don't find a bone, leave my theory alone.
All of modern science should rhyme.
It's really embarrassing, atheists. It's really embarrassing.
Yes, it's embarrassing for us.
Science and people looking and searching for these bones, but they've never found it. I mean, they've gone so far to deceit where they've actually created false fossils. I mean, we got the Nebraska man, the Piltdown man, Lucy, the list goes on.
Did you just say Lucy was fake?
Terrible science. I mean, not only
Their science doesn't even rhyme.
Atheists, you have been bamboozled. You have been bamboozled, and I hope today that you will make the choice to let go of this evidence. You know what? Atheists, you remind me of this.
So what you're saying is because the Piltdown man was a fake, all fossils are fake, and therefore I should be a Christian.
She fell in love with this guy at her job. Kenyatta was so convinced.
Her name is
that
Pinata?
his guy liked her too, but despite the evidence, which was that he was married.
He smacked her really hard and candy came out.
Probably the 3 years that they worked together, he probably said 3 words to her.
Yes, the
Kenyatta
3
was
words were,
convinced
God is
this girl
dead.
loved her because Kenyatta didn't care about the evidence. Kenyatta wanted to believe what she wanted to believe. And that really is.
She apparently really wants to believe that the plural of atheist is atheist.
Their evolutionary beliefs, then no matter how much evidence I present today, it cannot prove to them that God doesn't exist.
You do realize you haven't actually presented any evidence today, right?
So the real question today, atheists, is that if what you believe is not true, are you willing to let go of your beliefs? Now, the
Yep.
information I
I'm
want to show
convinced.
you really
Sign me up.
quick. I mean, let's first start off with the cell. The cell is one of the simplest units of living matter. Nobel
I
Prize
thought
winner
creationists
Linus
were the
Pauling,
simplest
one of the
unit of
greatest
living matter.
chemists in the 20th century, states that one cell is more complex than all of New York City. One cell more complex than all of New York City.
But only
I mean,
half as
I lived in
complex
New
as
York.
Gary,
I lived
Indiana.
in New York for 4 years, and I can vouch that New York is extremely complex. We got 8 million residents, we got miles and miles of freeways and highways, thousands of business structures, subways. And so much more. And there would be no way that anybody can convince me that New York City came together with random chance and time. Imagine if someone told you that there were no planners, no architects, no builders, no intelligence, just chance and time, and boom!
Okay, the
New
stupid
York
is starting to
appears.
hurt now because
I mean,
that's
how
just
much more
wrong
intelligence than
on
is
so
needed
many
just for
levels.
one cell, which is more complex than New York. The
Natural
amount of
selection
information in
is
one
not
cell
a
equivalent to
random
1,000
process,
encyclopedias.
dumbass.
And every single bit of that information has to be in exact order, otherwise the cell is absolutely useless.
Like the money wasted on
That's
your
the
science
probability of
education.
Getting all that information in one cell is like if you went to a print shop like Kinko's, there was a huge
This version of the
explosion,
thoroughly
and
debunked
all
747
of the papers in
metaphor
there
brought
just
to you
happened
by
come together
Kinko's.
into a dictionary in alphabetical order from A to Z.
Hey, look, it
That's
has your
extremely
picture next to
impossible.
wrong.
And that's the same impossibility that's the same impossibility of getting one cell.
You mean
with all that
probability?
information in order. It goes on. When you look even closer to the cell, you see that the cell has complex machines in them. Machines like the same machines that we all see every single day. From the car you use to
You
get
guys
up
all
here,
remember
to the cell
machines,
phone,
right?
the computer.
You know,
machines
the ones
are
that
found
science
inside
are responsible
of
for.
cells. And Michael Behe, who used to be an atheist, and after looking at the information, he actually is now one of the greatest advocates of intelligent design. He coined a term
right,
called
because he was so
irreducible
successful at the
complexity.
Dover
And
trial.
what that simply states is that machines have all these numerous parts within them, and if you take out just one part, then the entire machine is useless. We
Oh,
have,
please have her
one gene, for
mispronounce the word
example, that is
flagella.
irreducibly complex is the bacterial flagellum. The bacterial flagellum is a bacteria that has this motor on the back of it.
Notice
that will
how she's actually
move
under the
it
impression
through
that the
cell.
flagella
It
and the
looks
bacteria
exactly like
are
a
one and the
motor
same
on
thing.
an outboard motor on a boat. So this motor looks exactly like a boat that humans have made. Probably engineers, scientists, and intelligent people have made.
All aboard
But
the
yet,
SS Poorly Reasoned
according
Argument.
to, irreducible complexity, it's no possible way that evolution
No
have
possible
brought
way
this
whatsoever.
machine
None.
together.
Zip.
And so,
Except for
evolution
all of the
based
recent
on-
studies that say it is
based on
possible.
just the bacterial flagellum, we can see, according to Darwin's quote, and he states, if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive light modification, then my theory would absolutely break down.
Why,
the
that quote is
bacterial
in its
flagellum
proper
is clearly
context.
a complex molecular organism that could have not have been formed by numerous successive modifications. And therefore, the evolutionary theory is scientifically impossible. What more evidence do you need, atheists?
Well, real
I mean,
evidence
Darwin
for
had
a
made
creator
clear that
god
his
would be
theory
a
was just
start.
mere speculations and queries. He said himself that though if it was true, there should be.
If I hold
tons of
on to my
evidence,
notes
and
close
yet we
enough,
haven't
it'll be
found any
true.
fossils. And then he made it clear that if you don't find any fossils, then it was just really a worthless speculation. Give it up, atheists!
Yeah, let's hear it
Give
for
up.
atheists.
I mean,
Woo!
150 years of research, hundreds of millions of bones, and we don't have one bone to prove, and yet you guys still want to hold on to this theory. Why is it really?
To advance the liberal elite gay agenda.
I mean, what's
Cabal
is your
thing.
girlfriend that hot? I mean, is the dude that fine? I mean, are you having that much fun in life that you would rather suppress the truth of God's existence?
And what exactly does that have to do with evolution?
You know, every day 150,000 people die. every
Don't
single
fear the
day.
reaper.
You have no time left. Will you continue to hold on to this lie and fairy tale all the way to the grave like so many other foolish atheists have done? Or will you wake up and acknowledge the God who created you?
I'll
The
consider it if he
choice is
grants me the ability to fly.
definitely yours. Just whatever you do, stop hiding behind evolution because your cover is officially blown.
Your argument was blown, or blue, anyway.